So my name is Solange Jazayeri. My story is really about the first time that I fell in love. My first absolute love that I can honestly go back in time and still remember that, like, where every cell of your body is vibrant and alive and you feel connected with something outside of yourself, yet very much within yourself. And it was this book. I honestly don't even remember who gave it to me. It had to have been a family member. And it was old, and it had that kind of scent of old. The pages were yellow, and that almost like added to the mysticism of it all. It almost felt like it had been handed down generation upon generation, and it was my little Bible. And all it was really a poetry book. I had to have been, I don't know, 7 at the time, and I would memorize them instead of playing with dolls or anything of the sort. I would spend my time just memorizing these poems. When my family would come and they'd gather in front of me, now I understand it had much more to do with the fact that I was a little girl saying something cute than it had to do with my intellect or how awesome I actually was at this poetry reading. But in my young mind, I just felt like a peacock. Like, I just felt like so regal and important, and I was just speaking the language of lovers and poets and people that had really lived these lives that I really wanted to live. And then one day I started realizing that when my family members said that maybe I had too much potential to spend all my time reading poetry or memorizing poetry when I could be doing other things that were more logical, I started becoming embarrassed about the very thing that I thought was the world to me, or the very thing that was teaching me how to love and what it meant to have the sense of emotion and be proud of it. So as I started getting just older, I started closing up that book, and really what I started closing was my heart. And now I have children, and now I'm responsible for having to instruct them as to what's important and what's not. So now I'm returning back to maybe not poetry, but returning back to just love. And instead of chasing the dream that everybody else wanted for me, I'm chasing my authentic self. And I think ultimately what's most important is holding on to the very things that connected you to yourself.
I'd had an eighth of mushrooms just kind of sitting around in my apartment for maybe a month, and I've tripped on LSD and mushrooms easily over 100 times. Never had a bad experience. So it was a Sunday afternoon, and like I said, just really into Be Here Now, and I'm reading, I'm like, I'm going to take this whole eighth by myself, and I am going to see the face of God, and it's going to blow my mind and be amazing.